I'm gonna remain the optimist that I am and say we have a fan. So how about that?
Oh wait, no, he unfollowed us. No.
Oh, dang. Easy come,
so
easy go. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is me and he, D with 2 E's. That is
the Dan with an AN.
Bingo. And we are DVD, aka DVD player. I'm your player. D with 2 E's, that's D with the AN, and we welcome you once again. Man, listen to those rhymes.
Oh, man. Oh, it's been...
It's been like a few weeks since we lay down an episode, and I think may have been like a week or so ago we actually released it. So
yeah, I was able to turn that one around a lot faster this time. So I'm hoping it'll be the same for this as well.
Yeah, because I think you just like didn't really do a whole bunch of editing and stuff. So you maybe did a couple little clips, and after that, just like shipped it out. Just get it out, man. Like Tom Brady, man, with that quick release, man. You just gotta 2 seconds, boom.
Yeah, hi everybody. It's been a little bit.
It's been a while. Where shall we begin? Sorry, I love Creed.
It's all about those Creed references here on the DVD show, the Dan versus D show. But hey, time marches on. Sports marches on. There's a whole fresh new set of headlines in the news for us to dissect or not dissect or completely ignore.
Wait, hold on a second. I think another player in the NFL just got another injury.
Oh boy.
Just as we speak right now, I think someone just got another injury. It's just been that type of year.
Yeah. Which begs the question, there are no games happening right now, so what did he get injured doing?
Stretching. I guess he yawned and raised his arms up, stretch, and then he just pulled something. I don't know.
Core muscle strain.
It was like the towel boy, maybe.
I'm actually going to look this up because this is a fantastic story. Yeah, I remember this. Okay, so in 2015, the Blue Jays' Kevin Pillar missed. It doesn't say how long he missed, but he missed time after he strained a muscle sneezing.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking. I believe I remember you telling me that he
sneezed and he pulled something.
Man, I mean, to be honest though, you know how forceful an action sneezing is. I mean, it actually stops the heart temporarily, don't it?
Fair point, I guess.
I think that's why people say "bless you." I don't know if that's a myth, but I believe that's I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because when you sneeze, that's a big oomph. That's a lot of force there.
I guess it's all your muscles convulsing at once. I remember a different. Yeah, I remember a different ball player at one point. He was getting out of the pool and pulling himself up, I guess, on the rungs, and fucking strained something that way.
Well, yeah, he must have stretched too much, or someone might have pulled in the wrong way. Yeah, I can see that.
But it was always funny because there's always, every year there's always some, when everybody reports for spring training, there's always some ridiculous injuries. Some of them are players lying because they probably were injured doing something not allowed under their contract.
What were they like? Were they like Matt Harvey, partying till 4-5 a.m.? Is that why they call him the Dark Knight?
Right. Instead of the Dark Day. But sad story with him too, because there's a possibility the Mets might just outright cut him because he's literally been that bad.
I mean, baseball is like one of those sports. It's like you could be hot like 1 minute and then like the next is just all of a sudden like you can just. I guess it's just any pro like sports circuit, but I think especially baseball. Like it seems like the flame out like happens quicker.
It always seems like baseball has kind of the highest number of like 1 year wonder kind of guys who just go nuts for like one season and then either injury or something else happens. The league figures them out and then they can never seem to adjust well.
I don't know. Football similar is like kind of like in a similar way too, because there's just a whole bunch of things like game plan or like against them or like to like injuries and stuff. Like it's a lot of factors. So I don't know. I guess it just depends on the way you look at things.
Because it's like you think of guys who sort of have a career trajectory that starts kind of at its peak and then just kind of tapers off over a few years. I'm thinking of like Victor Cruz. You know, he did have injuries, but I mean, he had that one great season, and then kind of had a really good season, and then a good season. You know what I mean? Like his production he was still good all those years, but like he was kind of transcendent for like 1 year in there, and then it just kind of started to taper off.
Okay. All right. So everyone, so we're talking. Reason why we're like, I guess, sound like downers right now is like we're starting things off with injuries, and like it's interesting that you mentioned about like Victor Cruz. It's like that's really a sad like tale there. I mean, like how long he played in the league? Like he played for about like 10 years, right?
I don't even think Pro Football Reference can solve this question.
I know he played. I mean, he played at least 5 years. I mean, over 5 years at least.
Yeah, but it was not a long career if I remember right. And he did come back after he tore his patellar tendon, but he was obviously not the same after that.
So we're talking about what, a 7-8 year mark, maybe?
Okay, this is gonna make you real sad. Are you ready? Victor Cruz's rookie year was 2010.
Dang. And he got cut like this year. So like, he lasted maybe 6 years in the league. And then like one of those seasons, like he missed like almost like a full season. So really like I think he played like maybe 5 years, I guess. Like if that actually would count.
Yep.
We'll say like 4.5. Well, like with other injuries, I guess, like missing games would take that into account. So maybe we're talking about maybe 4.5 years of like in terms of playing games.
Yeah, if you look at his career line, so he did not play much his rookie year. He played in 3 games because I think wasn't he undrafted?
Yeah, he was. I believe so. Yeah, he was.
Right. He was undrafted, so he was just kind of on the roster that first year.
Who was he playing behind? Like Mario Manningham and like Hakeem Nicks?
I guess so. His second year was when he broke out, and he had 82 for about 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Let me ask you something, Dan. Do you think, like, does it feel like this has been like the most injury-riddled season you've ever witnessed during throughout your whole fandom of football? And also, the second question is, how much of an impact has it made towards like the overall quality of the football, like compared to like recent years? Go.
It's weird because like the experience of being a football fan is something like you kind of feel a little bit like this every year because you get so excited to see certain guys play, especially if you're like a big fantasy player like we both are. You get so excited to see certain guys play, and then they go down in like training camp or go down the first week of the season or go down halfway through the season. This one feels particularly bad. I'm not sure what the raw data says in terms of the amount of injuries, but
it just feels like the most to me.
It feels particularly bad because like, if you want to run down like the best quarterbacks in the NFL, so Brady's played the whole season. Okay, cool.
Rodgers is down. Rodgers hasn't played.
Aaron Rodgers got hurt. He may come back.
Bridgewater is not going to get his job back.
Yeah, I mean...
That dates back to like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he busted up his knee in training camp 2 years ago. God.
No, it wasn't training camp. Wait, was it training camp? Yeah, it was training camp.
It was in like a practice. It was a non-contact injury.
And like everybody was like crying and stuff like that. And it was like probably like the most gruesome like knee injury like those players in that camp probably had witnessed at the time.
Yeah.
In their lives. Yeah. Dang.
Did I mention Luck? Luck hasn't played the entire season because he has a fucked up shoulder and nobody knows why his shoulder won't heal properly.
Luck really didn't really play it. Luck played like maybe half the season last year, and like, well, I think didn't he like miss like half the games last year, and then the games he did play, his shoulder was all screwed up anyway, and they were like covering that stuff up.
Let's do this.
Andrew Luck was not really healthy last year, man, and I think that might have like really added an insult to the injury, like towards his shoulder being there even worse. Because if it wasn't already like unhealthy already, already like banged up, why did he come in and like have the off-season surgery if there wasn't something wrong with it like to begin with? So yeah, I think they just wheeled him out there and just said, "Here, throw some passes and stuff," even though your arm is like way screwed up.
Yep, it's not looking good, and I mean they may have already kind of permanently screwed up his career because of all the hits he's taken and stuff.
I would never forget. Hey, I recently watched like this video. It's like the Indianapolis Colts, the Factory of Glue, and by Urinane Tree, who's become like one of my newest like favorite like YouTubers because he does like analysis and like commentary of sports. He used to do video game reviews, but he I think on his Twitter it says like a former like failed like video game reviewers, and so he found a new niche in like doing sports stuff.
He's just doing the same thing, right? He's just reviewing sports instead, and it's kind of what we do.
Yeah, and it's like he's more polished than we are, so like right now. But he said like when he was talking on the subject of Andrew Luck, he was like, "You killed him. You killed him. It's like you turned like a surefire quarterback into RG3."
Jeez.
Big ups to Urinate Tree. If y'all want to, I highly recommend like our audience to go check him out. Like especially his This Week in Sports Ball. It's like those are like his weekly like episodes during like the football season. Like I always look forward to like seeing those. Just some entertaining, and I would recommend you take a look at them too, Dan. Like start from like the beginning until like up to like this week. So
totally. But dude, we should do like towards the end of the show, we should do a segment where we each recommend something non-sports, like a YouTube channel or a movie or a CD or something. That could be kind of fun.
Dude, I'll recommend something right now to you. Like, Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie. Have you seen it?
No,
I'm serious.
No, I haven't.
It's like if you was a fan of the cartoon show, like the original series of it, it's like it kind of ties up those loose ends and it gives you like that. It gave my inner childhood like some closure, like on that show. It was amazing. So any Hey Arnold fans out there, I recommend it. But I digress. Let's go back to our injury list. So freaking Deshaun Watson.
So I pulled up I guess it won't cover Deshaun Watson, but I pulled up a list of top players by average draft position. So guys that were fantasy relevant, and that's a decent proxy for like best players.
OBJ. That's which pretty much single-handedly just took me out of my fantasy league.
Yeah, wait, why isn't he on this list?
I don't know, but I do know my team felt felt his absence big time. Like it basically took away like any like playmaking ability on my wide receiver like group and on my fantasy team. My only like main contributor is like an aging Larry Fitzgerald, and he's doing it with a terrible quarterback.
Yeah. This is
but
really
Larry
stupid.
Fitz is still,
yeah, this list is not working properly.
Fitzgerald's still doing his thing. But like, I hate the fact that I think the worst injury had to be like the one to like Deshaun Watson, because
it was
Houston finally found their quarterback. They tried all they could to not pick their franchise quarterback, just like cycling through like quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. Then they finally find one, and then and of all things, he gets injured in practice. Practice, man. Not a game.
Well,
not a game, but we talking about practice, man.
What's amazing about that? What's amazing about that is that Houston was boring and just an utter sort of just malaise pile of a team to watch with Tom Savage at quarterback. And then they put in Deshaun Watson and he went nuts. And they suddenly, for about a month, became must-see TV. And then you heard he blew his knee out. And then you were just like, damn it.
I know, right? My favorite game of the year, right? Actually, two candidates there. The Texans versus the Patriots and the Texans versus the Seahawks. Those are like my two favorite games of the years thus far. All in the common denominator, all involved Deshaun Watson.
He was. I hope that like he'll fully recover from that knee injury and will be able to be the same player next year.
I really hope so, because that really halted like momentum. Like, and he had us all eating out of the palm of his hands. The world was his oyster right there. And then all of a sudden the football guys just come in and go. I mean,
it was like a Willie Beeman almost.
Man, like it's like the football guys just like roll like the play like injury roulette. It's like, one wheel says name and the other one just says type of injury. Okay, let's make that happen. Zap.
But okay, here you go. We'll just do like the top 100 players drafted in our fantasy league. So David Johnson gone. He was gone after like 2 weeks. Odell.
When he gone after the first week? Gone. Yeah, he gone.
Ty Montgomery just went on IR. He's 35. Dalvin Cook played like 3 games and immediately went on IR. He was also on my team.
And he was actually good. Yeah.
And if you think about it, Jordy, he didn't get hurt himself, but the Aaron Rodgers injury pretty much torpedoed his season.
And that basically pretty much cost them their playoffs.
Brandon Marshall, who was just an utter whiff on my part.
I didn't really trust him because, like, aging wide receiver. And, like, it's the Giants, so.
Jordan Reed has been hurt most of the season. Joe Mixon is hurt.
Oh, dang.
Allen Robinson is hurt. Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck got drafted in this league. Jeez. Rob Kelly. Tyler Eifert. When was the last time you heard Tyler Eifert's name?
Oh my gosh, man! I haven't really heard his name
Hill
all
went
year.
on IR. We're getting into guys who are not stars now, but my point is, brutal. Anyway,
are we done with injuries? You got any more things that you want to add? I guess.
Well, here's the thing: I think we didn't really talk about the biggest story, which is Ryan Shazier.
Oh yeah, because it just happened so recent. Like, man, like you want to talk about like all the hits like on Monday? Oh my gosh, like all those nasty hits. Like, man, they were hitting, and then it was just so weird. Like I didn't really see anything dirty about the play. I guess like with Shazier, I think it was just like a freak accident. It
was football, man. It was a football play,
Like, what, did somebody just hit him in the back, like, trying to block him from behind or something? Or what? Like, I need to go back and see the clip. But how did it happen? Did somebody, like, just make contact with his spine?
I think I saw, like, a clip of it or something. I'm gonna hate myself for this, but I'm gonna look it up. The thing is, I saw people in comment sections saying, like, well, you know, he shouldn't have led with the crown of his helmet. And they weren't trying to be dicks, but they were just like, look, you know, their argument was he did something wrong And that's what he did not use proper form, and that's what. And I just.
It's the heat of the moment. The speed, like the speed is going like 200 miles an hour, man. Like the speed of football is like, you're not going to think about like, you're just trying to make a play because your job is on the line. Like you're not going to really think about, let me see if I can leave my shoulder and stuff. No, I'm going to do what I have to do to stop the player from making progression. Yeah.
I'm trying to find this video real quick. Give me a second.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm just gonna sneak this in here because I'm a North Carolina fan for basketball. Duke lost today, lost to Boston College. Duke is #1 team in the nation, and they got beat. And man, I love it. Love it.
So,
I love it.
Okay, hold on. So. It was just a short pass. That's all it was. He was the linebacker. It was a short pass. Guy caught the ball. He came in and just kind of, he did kind of lead with the crown of his helmet. But again, it's sort of like a football play lasts like 2 or 3 seconds. When the receiver catches that ball, his brain has, you're approaching the limits of how fast the human brain can process information. And he's practiced for decades of his life to be able to, in that second, decide, I'm hitting this dude, and go in and wipe him out. And that's his job, and that's what he's been trained to do for many years, and that's what he gets paid the big bucks to do. Saying after all that, he shouldn't have led with the crown of his helmet, I think that's a little disingenuous, because that's not, It happens, and you see it all the time in games. And I honestly, dude, sometimes I see guys go in like on kick returns and stuff like that, and I see, them kind of hit somebody with their helmet, and nowadays, like I see, I'll notice that, and my heart stops almost, because I'm just like, Jesus, is he okay? Man. Cool, he popped right back up.
My favorite is seeing like people like trying their hardest just to hit a person as hard as they can and just straight up like lay the wood on somebody that they actually knock themselves out.
Yeah,
because
that
they hit the guy too
sometimes.
Hard.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know,
man. I mean, I guess people with the helmet, like they're like saying he shouldn't have lead his helmet. Like, I guess that was like, that's the practical way. Like they're like, I guess like technically that's the practical way that you should tackle by not leaning your head, but it's not. Let me see. Like, no, it's ideal. It's ideal, but like it's not practical. Like in the heat of the moment.
Well, I guess my point is, it's like we'll never know, obviously, because none of us are like inside his head. But I don't think like he made a conscious decision to lead with the crown of his helmet. I guess that's my point. Like it was happening too fast. Instincts take over. You can't. In baseball, I mean, I guess a pitcher could screw up a pitch and hit a guy in the face. That does happen sometimes. But like, if you're a basketball player and you miscalculate in a drive to the rim, you're probably not like damaging vertebrae. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I really don't. I don't have a point really about this. It sucks, man. And sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, football fandom really sucks. And I'm just like, I don't really.
I really hope. Ryan Shazier, gets well soon. Like, I hope he can just live forget about like playing football. I mean, I hope he could play football again. But if he can't, I hope he can just at least just lead a normal life. Like, I know I'm a Patriots fan, and Ravens and Steelers are like my arch nemesis. and I wish like misfortune on the team, like in terms of like the loss column, but not in the loss column of like players like I respect, because like I didn't like Shazier because he was like he was good. Like he was like one of their like premier like linebackers, and like that could like straight up like wreck Tom Brady or somebody, or wreck one of our receivers up the middle. Like that was like, you know, it was like the player I love to hate. It's like, man, like I don't like him because like I respect his game, and I worry about like how my Patriots will match up against him.
If you knew him in real life, you'd probably think he was a super cool dude.
Dude, I would have a beer with him, man.
Yeah.
I would have a beer with him in real life, man. Plus, how does he keep that head so slick too, man? I mean, like he has like a clean shaved bald head, man. It's like, it's beautiful, man.
But it goes without saying that we hope that he recovers soon, and honestly, I mean, that's a decision for him and his family to make, but man, if I were in that position and like my job had caused me to be injured in that way, I would say, you know what? If I've made enough money to set up my family and have us live comfortably for the rest of our lives, then f it. I'm not doing this anymore. But for some people I know it's what they love and they can't stop. You know, Tom Brady definitely can't stop. And even if he was injured and bad, you know that he would still try to play because that's literally all he knows how to do. He's just a football machine, and clearly is not super well rounded in other areas of life. But that's for another time. Yeah. But get well soon, Shazier.
Let's go on a little bit more lighthearted. Things like that are causing like people in Jersey to like straight up like celebrate in the streets. Ben McAdoo and Jerry Reese they got canned on Monday. What's your thoughts, man? Like, we're probably not going to spend much time on that one because like, let's just be honest, Ben McAdoo is not worth like spending a whole bunch of time on. So let's do like a little quick take on like how you feel about that, about Ben McAdoo getting canned, and just like how bad this season has been right now with him under the helm.
He sucks. He's always sucked.
But the mustache?
The only reason he got that head coaching job, because remember, they drafted Odell in the first round, and they kind of had that lost season where Beckham was hurt early in the season, and then he kind of became a starter at a certain point through the season, and then went on that rampage as a rookie. That basically is why Ben McAdoo got that job, because he got another good season out of Eli and was figured out a way to get the ball to Odell and let him do his thing. Nobody knew that he was going to be that good, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he recognized that talent and was like, this is a guy I need to feature in my offense. And that's the only reason he got that job,
about a
basically.
running game, though. Let's totally disregard a running game.
And I mean, that's not a new story. Like, that happens all the time. A hot coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, a hot coordinator gets the next crack at a head coaching gig. I mean, Josh McDaniels is going to get hired away soon.
I really hope that McDaniels becomes I hope he inherits the Patriots after Belichick leaves or something. Which
he's not going to be around that long. Yeah, Belichick's going to be there until they throw him out, basically, and McDaniels is going to be gone next year.
But Ben McAdoo, to me, it's just it's like a train wreck just happening in slow motion that you can't turn it's going to be just straight up terrible, but you just can't turn away. It was pretty much that. It's like this ride can't get any worse, and then they just Ben McAdoo just says, "Hold my beer," and he just rides it to the ground. It just bursts into ashes, man. I mean, this has got to be And like this is saying something because like you know how like the Giants will like maybe have like a couple good seasons here and there, but then other times just like mediocrity or below mediocrity.
Yeah,
this has got to be like the worst like season I've ever seen the Giants in like in my life. Easily,
it's bad.
This is like the worst season. Yeah, this is like the worst I've ever seen the Giants, even for like their usual bad standards and like their off years. It had the move had to be made.
Yeah.
Oh my man.
I mean, really, even more so than the coach. I mean, McAdoo was terrible, and he did a terrible job, and no one seems to know where the benching Eli thing came from, if it was the coach or the GM or the owner or whoever.
He chose Geno Smith. He didn't even do the benching right.
Blame the guy who built the team, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Geno is terrible. Geno is awful. You cut out there for a second.
He didn't even do a benching right. Like, couldn't he have like at least like, you know, you benched him in favor of Davis Webb if tanking was their thing? What was the point in starting Geno, man? Like that's really like
I think it's because tanking was their thing.
What the heck was that about? Dan, give me your honest opinion on Giancarlo Stanton and I forgot his first name, but Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani.
Like those moves like this weekend. Yeah.
Okay, so the brief bird's eye view is Ohtani first started getting hyped kind of in like a baseball internet like about 2 years ago. When he was probably around 21. Maybe more like a year and a half ago. But he essentially imagine like a Madden create-a-player baseball player. Like the first player that you created when you went into create-a-player mode. He is...
Wait, did you just say like Madden create a baseball player?
Yeah, I figured more people knew Madden than like MVP baseball or something. But
the fact that you said Madden and baseball, like as if it's like its own little like sports game, it's like baseball, like football, like you're
side
catching a
note,
fly ball and a linebacker like tackles the like outfielder.
Side note,
like in basketball.
I would play the hell out of John Madden baseball. Just throwing that out there. But Ohtani is a pitcher who has a 102 mile an hour fastball and struck out a like large percentage of the batters he faced at like 22, 23 years old. He is a hitter who hits home runs, a lot of home runs, and there were periods of time where in like this season he was a little bit injured and didn't play as much, but last season there were at least one point in time that I remember where they were saying that he was simultaneously the best hitter and best pitcher in basically all of Japanese baseball, or close to it anyway.
But how's that going to translate to the MLB where you just play against the best players in not just in Japan but in the world?
Well, so that's what makes it interesting. He's the best estimate that people have come up with for kind of what the talent level of the Japanese league is, that it's sort of between AAA and Major League Baseball. So it's sort of like a quad A kind of level. No one really knows. It's a little bit weird. I mean, I'm trying to think of the last time a Japanese player had this level of hype. And I don't think there really is a good example of that.
Matsuzaka?
Maybe Daisuke, because I remember the thing about Daisuke was that there was all of these rumors going around that he threw the gyro ball, which was a pitch that was created on a computer. That was all not true. That was a complete hoax, but a funny story anyway. But like baseball has never had anything like Ohtani before, really. I mean, if you're thinking about like great two-way players, like actually really, really good two-way players, Babe Ruth. I mean, he was a great pitcher. He had a record for, I think, consecutive scoreless World Series innings for a long time. And then obviously after he was a pitcher, he became Babe Ruth that we know today with the guy hitting all the home runs and stuff. But no one's ever really tried to do it in baseball.
And how long there have been experiments since, like, what, the 1950s?
No, Babe Ruth played in the 20s. So it's been
oh my gosh, so
almost
that's
100
even longer.
years. And it's just because the game has changed so differently. And hitting in particular is a skill that just requires so much practice and so much repetition and so much game reps. And that's why, like, baseball is really the only sport. Yeah, baseball really is the only sport where guys spend 2 or 3 years in the minors before they even get to the majors. Less so now because teams are promoting younger guys, but it's because it just the sheer number of reps that it takes to get good at those kind of skills. So, I mean, the short answer is no one really knows. He came over and signed with the Angels, so he's going to play on the same team as Mike Trout. So potentially, you know, I don't think anyone realistically expects him to be like the second best player in baseball or anything, but really probably two of baseball's most like must-see TV kind of guys on the same team. So that should be a lot of fun.
Makes you want to watch baseball, definitely, with Ohtani.
We should hang out and watch some Angels games. Here's the thing that sucks for us is that we're on the East Coast, so Angels games are going to start at like 10 o'clock at night for us. So that's kind of a pain.
That's all right. I'll bring a sleeping bag.
But yeah, I mean, it's also. I can't really think of another example, even in another major sport, of like a major international. Maybe when Yao Ming came over from China to play in the NBA, a guy with like that level of hype, who really we just had no idea what he was going to do in the pros. Because I don't know, it doesn't seem like international prospects get the same level of hype that they do now, that they did like the first few times it happened.
Nah.
But just kind of a crazy thing too, because like also a guy coming over who is really trying to do something that no one has done. At least no one has done successfully. But
okay.
Because even guys like Rick Ankiel, who was a pitcher and flamed out as a pitcher and then became a position player, it's not quite the same thing as being a pitcher and a position player simultaneously.
Those damn Yankees got Stanton.
I saw that. That broke today, didn't it? I think it did.
Yep.
Or last. I think it was like last night.
Just breaks your heart, don't it? Because breaks your heart, don't it? Like your Boston Red Sox blood just boils it, don't it?
It irritates me more so because I hate how much I like Aaron Judge and how much I like Stanton, and it's. Here's the thing.
So does this mean a Red Sox fan is going to be rooting for some Yankees?
No, hell no. But so Stan's going to slot into the same lineup as Judge, and pretty much the Marlins made this trade to cut payroll, and that's the only thing they care about. They had an okay team last year, and they just decided, you know what, we are gutting payroll to save costs. Because they have a new ownership group in there who wants to essentially use the team's salary, the team's payroll, to recoup what they spent to buy the team, which is kind of despicable if you think about it, because they sold themselves as, you know, we're actually going to try to win, unlike Jeffrey Loria, who really didn't care. But it's a mess. And I mean, the Yankees are going to be good, and they're all anyone's going to talk about the entire year, because that's the way it works. And that's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. That is what baseball is. They are, I mean, it's just like the Cowboys in the NFL, you know, when the Cowboys are bad, it's a story. When the Cowboys are good, it's a story. it's the same principle. And to be honest, the Yankees are run by someone who is probably not even a tenth as despicable as Jerry Jones. So,
man. So
that's the thing. It's still going to be a fun season, and fandom aside, they're going to be a very, very fun team to watch because they're going to hit a bajillion home runs, and it's just going to be those two guys. They both close their eyes and swing as hard as they can, basically, and hit a crap ton of home runs and strike out a whole bunch, and it's just going to be...
I thought that was the Cubs.
It's less so now.
I thought that was the Cubs' MO. Let's just swing as hard as we can. We're going to crush the ball with like Chris Bryant and these other guys, but when we strike out, we're going to strike out ugly and forcefully.
Yeah, the problem is they did that this year without hitting a whole lot of home runs. So,
the only person that was mainly producing was Chris Bryant and like someone else probably, but like
Rizzo.
mainly Chris Bryant, Rizzo. Yep.
Yeah, but anyways, so that's the thing. There's lots of fun. I don't know. I don't want to bring Red Sox bias into it, but there's a lot of other young fun players. I mean, the Astros just won, and they're a whole hell of a lot of fun.
The Dodgers are going to spend more money to try and get that ring.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know. I feel like the Stanton and Judge duo is going to overshadow a lot of that to a certain extent. But that's just the way media works, and you can't really spend a whole lot of time whining about that.
Hopefully, they overshadow how bad my Atlanta Braves will be.
So, what were you following that at all? Where the Braves GM got banned from baseball for life?
Nope. I have no idea what's going on with Atlanta right now. Like,
okay, for real, I don't even think I can really properly Cliff Notes this for you, but basically some real shady stuff was going on with that dude. His name is John Coppolella, and he was doing some things he wasn't supposed to sign international players and stuff like that.
No.
And
was he doing like some Louisville stuff?
Huh?
Was he doing like some Louisville University stuff?
Kind of, actually. Kind of similar, because it's not something that he's going to like go to jail for. It's not illegal. It's just essentially not allowed by the CBA. So he got banned from baseball for life, and literally every player I think the Braves signed, or like 12 players they signed this year from internationally, had their contracts torn up and were allowed to sign with other teams instead. So they lost essentially what's equivalent to like a draft class. So that is brutal. When you get some time, look that up and do some reading about it, because it is absolutely insane. I can't remember the last time a GM got banned for life. The guy who was in the hacking scandal, the Cardinals hacking scandal, that guy got banned for life, and I think he also went to jail, but he was not the GM. He was like an assistant or something.
Man, that's a lot of corruption in baseball, ain't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't think that people with money and power wouldn't go to any length to get even more of both. So, I hear you went to a WWE event a few weeks ago, and just kind of give me your general impression of it,
bro. Like, I think it was November 25th. At the Greensboro Coliseum, they held something called Starrcade, and Starrcade was like, I'm not too much keen on like my wrestling history. I'm more of like a modern fan of wrestling, but what I do remember is like Starrcade was like a WCW thing, and it was actually created by the late great Dusty Rhodes, as me and Dan refer to him as, like, based off of this one YouTube video, But Dusty Rhodes.
Butt Dusty.
But Dusty Butt. But rest in peace. Rest in peace, Dusty Rhodes. But Starcade, that was created by him, and it was made famous. Like, you had like this is like how like rich like the history Starcade was. Like this used to be like a pay-per-view, like one of those like big events. Like you had like the Nature Boy Ric Flair, Harley Race, and like I mean you had like a bunch of like people like legendary like names in history like wrestle at Starcade. And like it was fun. Like it wasn't televised, but it was actually fun just like to be like a live event. So the storylines aren't really canon, you know, like to like the actual like stuff you see from the weekly episodes on Raw and SmackDown. This event focused more on like the SmackDown roster for those who haven't watched wrestling in a while. They have like a lot more like extended roster now, so they basically have like half their roster on Raw, half their roster are representing SmackDown, and then they have their own little like own entity, which is supposed to be like their quote unquote developmental territory, NXT, but it kind of operates as kind of like its own little standalone show until they get called up on Raw or SmackDown.
Sort of like the minor leagues, right?
Yeah, but like it's kind of seen like its own entity because it's like I feel like the matches are better over there, and then by the time those people get called up to the main shows, like their characters are kind of like brought down or something like that. Like I'll get into that at like another time and stuff. Like it's frustration there, but for all intents and purposes, I'm focused on this pay-per-view event. Well, it wasn't a pay-per-view event, but a live event, and my girlfriend I think it might have been like a month and a half ago, she was like asking if she if I would be interested in going to a wrestling event. I was like, yeah, sure. And I didn't know it was actually Starcade, and I didn't know she like actually shelled out cash like for 2 tickets for both me and her. So it was like basically like my Christmas present from her. And yeah, I love her to death. Like even though she beat me in fantasy football, but like I still like love her to death for like especially her doing that for me, because like I hadn't been like before going to this event. I haven't been to like a wrestling show in like 5 years, like in person. Back in 2012 when it was like WWE Over the Limit, which was actually
that was that long ago. Jeez.
Yes, it was. That's why it was such a big deal.
Brief clarification: that was Casey for longtime listeners of the show, right?
Yep, from episode 3, the Sam Hinkie episode.
Episode 3,
the great part of Sam Hinkie court case. But pretty much it
episode
had
3 listeners.
Yeah, but overall, like, what can I say? It being 5 years since I've actually seen like a live wrestling event, it was really good. It was like, do I wish it was like on pay-per-view? Oh, like an actual like pay-per-view event, like actually televised? Yeah, but it did not change the fact. It didn't like change anything in terms of like my enjoyment of it, because like it had great people. Like it actually had Dusty Rhodes' son, Dustin Rhodes. Like he's Goldust. But he actually wrestled in his old gimmick, like the natural Dustin Rhodes back when he was in WCW. So he basically wrestled without his face paint.
Wow.
So and that was cool. So it's kind of, I guess it was kind of like a sweet little tribute to his dad. You had like legends come in. Like you had like the Rock and Roll Express. You had one of the best. You had like one of the members of the Four Horsemen, who was like which is probably like one of the best wrestling stables of all time. Arn Anderson. You had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, probably like one of the best Intercontinental champions ever, and you had North Carolina's own Nature Boy Ric Flair, woo! Hey. Which was like probably like it was a few weeks after like they televised the 30 for 30 of the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Like, and I would recommend that.
All right, yeah.
So it was great, like being and of course, like, and fun fact, his daughter like actually wrestles like in the WWE, Charlotte Flair, and she's like the current SmackDown Women's Champion. And like it just had it was just great to be amongst like those legends, like just be in the same building with those legendary like wrestling figures. It was just so awesome. Wrestlers, like I guess I'm naming on the top of my head, the glorious Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, Tamina Snuka, Naomi, Charlotte Flair, who else? Like, and Natalia. Who else? Like a lot of tag teams. Like one guy like I hadn't seen, like that I grew up watching, who actually ended up coming back to WWE, Shelton Benjamin. Like, yeah, like he's great. Like he's like one of the few like black guys I've seen wrestle in the WWE, but like I just grew up watching, and I just like he's like in my probably my at least at the very least my top 10 like favorite wrestlers of all time, because it's just his athleticism and just his like technique in the ring. Didn't really have the best charisma, but just in terms of like talent and athletic gifts, yeah, he was the best. Who else? You had the New Day, who were very entertaining. I mean, lots of twerking was involved. Let's see, the Usos. Let's see who else. Like, my personal favorite, of course, like who I was really excited to see, the phenomenal AJ Styles. Now, the story is like he used to wrestle in TNA for like 10, 12 years, and he was kind of like their John Cena of that company. And TNA just botched like management and let one of their best guys, if not their best guy, just walk out for New Japan Wrestling. Like, so go overseas and wrestle and make a, hone his craft, make an even bigger name for himself that if it wasn't big already. And then after that, he was like one of the highest free agents, and then whoop, he goes to like TNA's main enemy, the WWE. And now he's doing his thing, and now he has the WWE Championship. And I never thought in a million years I would see him like wrestle in the WWE, let alone hold like one of their prestigious championships. And with the popularity that carried on over to the WWE, like fans just absolutely love him. I'm marking out for him. It was just amazing. It's just so hard to describe. It's like you don't think like it's kind of like Kurt Warner like playing arena football, and then you wonder, maybe it'll be okay in the NFL, but it just seems like a pipe dream. And before you know it, you see him winning the Super Bowl and winning the MVP. That's the main way I can describe like my feeling with AJ Styles. He went from being in TNA, which is kind of seen as like, I guess the minors, or seen as junior varsity compared to the WWE, and he goes into like wrestling, going to WWE and wrestling John Cena and then beating him and actually winning championships.
Wow.
So that, I think it was just worth it, just being able to see him, like see a person in the WWE who I just could only but dream of like seeing, and being able to see him in person. And that's like something I can carry with me like for the rest of my life. Like those gloves I have, like my AJ Styles gloves. Yeah, I bought those there. I've also bought Shinsuke Nakamura. He's like a Japanese wrestler. Like I bought his t-shirt of him. But the event was just amazing. And Casey, she doesn't really like violence, but when she saw like the shenanigans of wrestling, like the theatrics of it, anywhere from like twerking to I guess like kind of like the choreography and like them actually putting the steel cage together, that was amazing. Like they actually like took piece by piece, and it was kind of like putting like Legos or connects or something. Like they're actually putting piece by piece, putting the steel cage together. I've never seen that happen before, and that was so cool to see. It was like you was on a theater set, like in an they called it intermission. They were just putting it together.
That's funny.
But Casey said she absolutely loved it, and like when she said like she actually enjoyed herself, I didn't think she would, but her saying like she enjoyed it really, that also made my night. In addition to like seeing stars like in person and being at a wrestling event like after like 5 years on like a hiatus of me seeing that. So overall, it was just such a beautiful event. I was excited, and I was just like happy as a lark, and that's all I gotta say about that, man.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. If you ever, maybe next year or something, if you're ever interested in doing something like that, I would love to go to something like that. I've never been. I imagine it would be a lot of fun to kind of get caught up in the crowd, in the atmosphere and the energy of it.
Yo, I was like saying some jokes and stuff, and like some people are like laughing and whatnot. It was great.
That's kind of what I'm curious about. Like, how was the crowd? What kind of people show up to something like that?
I mean, just all types of people. Like, mainly you're gonna have your kids because, like, the WWE do cater to like the kids because the kids want the merchandise. Well, first of all, the kids, they need to be brought to the event. So, hey, the kids are going to beg their parents to take them to the event. And then they're going to probably beg their parents for like a t-shirt or something and for snacks and popcorn. So basically WWE is just churning out all that, just rolling in the dough of all that revenue because the parents might also might buy a t-shirt as well. So they do cater to the kids first because you cater to the kids, they're going to bring the adults and they're probably going to spend a little bit more as well. But it's just all types of people, kids, like teenagers, adults, like
I guess
adults,
I'm curious about that. For like,
adults.
Did it seem like the parents that brought their kids? Did it seem like they got into it too?
Yeah, in some degree, yeah, I would say so. Because it's entertainment. I mean, sports entertainment. Like there is entertaining quality to these shows, and like. And it's one thing watching on TV, and it's another being there, like actually experiencing it and being part of the interaction.
Yeah, it's the feeling that like you're also participating in a sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I always found fun about I guess other live sporting events too. Particularly, but with those, you only really get that feeling if it's like a close game and the crowd is really invested in it. And I guess that's the cool thing about wrestling is that that's every event, really.
And the matches are predetermined too, so they can go like a decent length of time, so you feel like you get your money's worth.
Yeah, I think that's important too, and that's that you can kind of you may not necessarily know beforehand who's going to win. The audience member won't, but you'll still get, you'll get excited. You'll get entertainment out of it, I guess.
Yeah. And it's less about who wins, but it's like how a person wins and how a person loses. Like, cause it's a good way to lose. And there's a good and bad way to win. There's a good and a bad way to lose. Like I've seen like matches where like, both guys end up looking like both men or both women or the participants end up coming out strong regardless of the result. Like this person needed this win to progress their character and stuff. While this guy, like he lost to like a formidable foe, but like the fight that he put in depicted throughout that match, like it did not make him look like a wuss. It actually, he came out strong despite of the loss. And sometimes it's just like it's not the destination, it's the path that you take to that destination. Yeah.
In either way, I guess in like the big events, it's also like a progression of the storyline too, and all that kind of stuff.
Progression of storyline and progression of a character. Like in some cases, like a string of losses can straight up like destroy like momentum of like a character. And they'll never be the same. So,
right.
we can talk about that in a later date. But overall, to sum up, like this topic, 5 years, like it was so worth it. Like having this event. I'm really thankful that KCU like took me to this event, and I'm just forever grateful. And just being able to see wrestlers in person is just like experiences like I can like tell like my kids and my grandkids. let's do our quick like football picks and like and also our quick analysis of the playoff picture. So I got like I'm gonna go ahead and like do some rapid fire here of like the what is it of the NFL games tomorrow. So let's see the games. All right. So Saints and Falcons. Well, okay, like there's the Falcons won already 20-17. Your quick take on that game?
Kind of weird momentum shift happened in there. I didn't watch all of it, but it really seemed like the Saints were kicking ass, and Matt Ryan threw 3 picks. I know that probably torpedoed a bunch of people's fantasy matchup too this week. Is the 3 picks from Stafford. And then I guess they really missed Alvin Kamara when he went out because I think he had a concussion.
Did you say Stafford? You say Stafford?
Did I say Stafford?
Yes,
I meant Matt Ryan. Oh man,
I'm glad I kept him. I'm glad I kept him on my bench then. Dang.
Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan.
But like this was a game that the Falcons had to win, and I was hoping for them to lose because like now this puts the pressure on like the Carolina Panthers in the wild card, because guess what? Both those teams will have to keep winning, or else like they're gonna get bounced out of the wild cards, out of their wild card spot by either the LA Rams or the Seattle Seahawks. So the Falcons. So now the pressure's on the Panthers, and they play against the Vikings. So we'll get to that when we get to it. Packers and Browns. There's Brett Hundley, and then there's whoever the heck is playing quarterback. Well, I guess Deshaun Kaiser, but it's the Browns who are like 12 and 13 now. 0 and 12. 4 games to go, man.
I've got the Pigskin Pick'em list pulled up here, and it shows you it shows you percentages of what the other people playing have picked. 92% have picked the Packers. Popular team to go against the Browns.
Mm-hmm. Josh Gordon's going to get like over 100 yards receiving, but the Browns are going to lose by 2 touchdowns. So I'm going Packers. All right. Next, I don't know how you pick against. I don't know how you pick against a Browns opponent. So I go Packers. Although I will say very quickly, if the Browns win a game this season, this is probably their best chance to do it. Yep. I don't think they're going to do it, though, because this is the Browns. They find ways to lose.
Nope.
All right, next game. Lions and Bucks. Who you got?
Winston's back. I still have the Lions. I still don't think Jameis Winston's that good. Yeah,
Lions, and Jameis is probably going to turn the ball over 2 times. That's going to seal their fate. So I'm going with Lions because Matthew Stafford will put his team on his back yet again, just like because of due to like lack of running game, and I feel like their defense is a little bit better than the Bucks. So I'm going Lions. Next, Raiders and Chiefs.
Oh my gosh, this is a tough one.
Two underachieving teams of the season.
You got 3 6-6 teams in that division, by the way.
Dude, the LA Chargers, man.
Yeah. I've got the Chiefs, I think.
Go
ahead.
I'm going Raiders. I'm actually going to go Raiders because I just feel like the Chiefs have lost their mojo, and I don't think a whole bunch of people talk about this. I mean, some people have, but I think the absence of Eric Berry really has like gutted this Chiefs like soul in a way.
Yeah.
I guess they just lack like that veteran like leadership, and it's just like, I mean, what did he like lost like 5 of 6 or something? Like it's just like
Berry's also a very, very good football player, and like the on-field part matters too, And I think they had other injuries too, and Kareem Hunt hasn't been nearly as good.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill is not. I mean, he'll show flashes, but he's not consistent yet. But he's still young. Let's see. Plus, they still got Alex Smith, and
But so you got Raiders.
I'm going Raiders because I feel like the Raiders like have been underachieving throughout the year, so they got to take their anger out on somebody, and I think they still have a chance at the division. So plus they did beat the Chiefs last time, and I think I'm going to go with them again. Like, and plus I think this time they're going to win a different way because they're now like pounding the rock with Marshawn Lynch, and it looks like he's having fun again in football. So
who would have thought?
I think Carr is like actually gonna play at the level that we feel that he should have been playing throughout this year, and Marshawn Lynch is gonna run the rock, and the defense won't be as much of a liability as the Chiefs D. So I'm going Raiders.
All right.
Next,
I'm going Chiefs.
Vikings. All right, Vikings and Panthers. I'm still like gargling like the bad taste out of my mouth of like that terrible performance like the defense turned in against the Saints, and also the offense. Like they had a bunch of 3-and-outs, and I really feel like they're missing like the presence of like a Kelvin Benjamin but after they traded him. But I hope this is the game that they have to win, and like they have to. This is like one of the best teams in football that they're playing against, but they have to win, or else I feel like the Seahawks are just gonna like run them out of a playoff spot.
I'm gonna go out on a limb for I think similar logic to what you picked the Raiders for. I'm picking the Panthers, and my reasoning is, you know, if you're going to make the playoffs, you have to have a kind of a signature win at some point during the season. And
got to.
You know, there's always these games where all signs seem to point to a particular outcome. Cam's thumb is messed up or whatever that is. They really haven't played that well recently. You know, the Vikings are really firing on all cylinders.
You don't have one receiver that can actually catch the darn ball.
Yeah.
And, Devin Funches. And G-Reg is out. I don't know if he's going to be playing or not, but he's the other consistent pass catcher. They're tight end.
He's on track to play tomorrow. But we
hope
don't
so.
know.
Cam needs him. And then they really need to do some stretch runs with McCaffrey to take advantage of his I think he's around the tackles person instead of a between the tackles person. So
I think this is the kind of game where Keenum has been very good the whole season, but I wonder if he can go and win a game all by himself, because I really think that, you know, that kind of middle of the Panthers defense is gonna get in there and f it up and really mess with that running game. So, you know, and if it's a slugfest, if it's like a 17-13 kind of game, then you kind of like the ability for Cam to just bust a run there near the end. And, you know, this is probably wishful thinking on my part, but I'm going Panthers.
I'm going Panthers too, because Carolina's my home, man. Next, the 49ers, the Jimmy Garoppolo led 49ers versus the Texans with Tom Savage.
Is it still they're still running Savage out there?
They still got Savage.
I think this is the time. Everyone's saying Jimmy G looked really good last week, so I think he goes out there and he wins this game single-handedly, basically.
And he's gonna throw for he was about 294 last week. I think he actually goes over 300 because there's no Whitney Merciless, there's no JJ Watt. Their defense has been gutted with injuries, and plus I think the Texans offense is going to give bad field position for their defense. So I think Garoppolo picks them apart, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going Niners.
I like it. Me too.
All right, next, Colts, Bills. I think Nathan Peterman is going to be starting because I think there was a knee bruise by Tyrod Taylor against the Patriots last week. So I think they're going to go without no Tyrod Taylor, and we're going to have Jacoby Brissett, who probably will get his brains beat in again because of the lack of an offensive line. The pathetic excuse. of an offensive line by the Colts. So either way, this is probably going to be a game that no one's going to want to go to, but someone's going to have to just, unfortunately, have to win. So who you got? I don't even want to pick this game, but I have no choice.
Okay. Between these two teams, you have 2 offenses, 2 defenses, and 2 special teams.
Just drop
I think
a bomb.
If you
Have them both lose.
if you counted all 6 of those units and you were like, which of these are okay, the only one you pick is the Bills defense. So I think that's your winner.
I'm picking Colts because of Jacoby Brissett, because he was a Patriot, and he's one of the few black quarterbacks in the league. So by default I'm rooting for him. Plus, I like what he's done with the Colts. Like, when he's not getting the crap beat out of him because of a lack of offensive line. But I think he's like I'm gonna roll with him.
Honestly,
with him in the Colts.
Side note: no one's really cared or paid attention because that team is just an utter dumpster fire. But he's been
I have, because I pay attention to our former Patriots. Yeah,
he
I pay
has been
attention to my former
shockingly
Patriots.
okay this season. And
don't
sleep on that, dude.
Imagine if he had like a real team.
Yeah, if he played on an actual roster that was not mostly assembled by Ryan Grigson, then he could actually do some stuff. And I sort of wonder if maybe after Luck comes back, if Luck ever does come back, if maybe he becomes trade bait for somebody. Because
I hope he gets traded to a better team, like where that actually has an offensive line, because I think he just keeps getting bounced in and out of like concussion protocol, and I fear for that, like for him.
Yeah,
like the talent is there. He's young and he's got like he has to develop certain things, but he does have potential. But I just don't want that potential to get squandered due to like him just due to like the what was his name David Carr, like him getting the David Carr treatment, being behind like a just like an absolute terrible line for years, and then it just like saps him of his talent and his confidence. So I'm going Colts.
Did you know that I think somebody broke it not too long ago, but did you know David Carr for a long time held the NFL record for consecutive completions because all they ever let him do was check downs?
Didn't he like hold? Don't he also hold the record for like most times being sacked in a single season?
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, okay. Next, the Bears versus the Bungles. They're not the Bengals, they're the Bungles because I think they're reverting back to like their 90s and early 2000s selves. Because they just find ways to keep blowing games. I gotta go with I'm going with the Bears because I think I feel like Mitchell Trubisky will show them something, and Tyreek Cohen and Jordan Howard are just gonna just straight up run over them. And plus, their Bears defense is actually pretty good. They're just such a terrible team. People don't talk about the Bears defense, which is actually been pretty good this year.
Yeah,
and plus I just don't trust the Bengals' consistency in offense. So
I've got the Bengals. When in doubt, I pick the team with the more talented players on it. Period. And that's really all I have to say about that. What a garbage game.
And I'm a little biased because like my brother, my older brother is a Bears fan.
Fair enough.
I guess I'm being a little bit wishful here. So I think I just see a little bit more potential of the Bears winning because like that collapse the Bengals had on Monday, I think they're just going to have a hangover from that, and it's just going to translate over to like tomorrow's game. So I'm going Bears. All right. Next, Cowboys, Giants.
Cowboys.
Yeah. Giants are a dumpster fire. Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Even without Ezekiel Elliott, I'm going Cowboys. Next, Titans and Cardinals.
This one gets a little bit interesting because Titans are 8-4, but Mariota's really had some issues this year, and
they're underwhelming 8-4.
You sort of feel like if that team played in like the AFC West, they might be struggling for a playoff spot. because they've just been beating up on some really just garbage teams in their own division.
Did you just say that correctly? The Titans have 8 wins this year.
They do.
Holy smoke!
They have 8. They are not going to have a losing season.
How about that, man?
There you go.
But I'm going Titans because of Mariota, and I think Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray are just going to run over them. And the Cardinals they have flipping Blaine Gabbert at quarterback. Not even Fitzgerald's best game will probably save them. So I'm going Titans.
Yeah, I think I am too, because the Cardinals defense maybe scares you. They're my streamer in fantasy this week.
Honey Badger,
because I'm kind of banking on Patrick Peterson doing some interceptions. But
don't forget the Honey Badger.
Yeah, but I don't think you can pick against Titans at this point. So next. Yeah.
All right. That was like the first afternoon game, the Titans and Cardinals. Another afternoon game, Jets and Broncos. Man, I gotta say, I'm going. I gotta go. For some reason, how did Josh McCown go from being a German quarterback to actually being not just serviceable, but actually being rather good with the Jets?
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, but I gotta go. I'm going with McCown because the Broncos whole quarterback group is is a crapshoot, man. It's just regardless of who they will out there, it's just a mess. How do you whiff with 3 quarterbacks, man? How? John Elway
what this reminds me of?
Is their president, right? And he was a quarterback himself, and he managed to whiff with all those people in that position. What does it remind you of?
It reminds me of a few years ago when the Red Sox tried. They had the brilliant idea that instead of having a number 1 pitcher and then a couple of number 3s and a number 5, they were just let's sign 5. Let's just have an entire rotation of number 3 pitchers. And it went horribly. And I just remember the day, the Red Sox. And I just remember the day that Pedro Martinez got his Hall of Fame plaque presented to him at or I guess no, it was the day he got his number retired. That's what it was. And they had this big emotional ceremony right before the game, and
then he got crushed, right?
And then literally the starter was Wade Miley that day, and he gave up 4 or 5 runs in the first inning. And all the Red Sox fans were looking at Pedro in the stands and looking at Wade Miley on the mound and just booing the ever-loving crap out of him. And it was just horrible. That was an awful year.
Good grief.
But it was really funny because it was, this game I would have completely forgotten about if it wasn't for that was the day that Pedro got his number retired. Anyway, that's what I think of when I see the Broncos quarterbacks is just, they basically just have a bunch of backups who are all terrible, and they just keep flipping them, swapping them around. Osweiler's still terrible. Semion's still terrible. Paxton Lynch can't even get on the field. It's awful.
And even when he is on the field, he's terrible.
It is just brutal.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
So I'm picking whoever is not that team.
Yeah. Whoever, so since the 49ers got their man in Garoppolo, the Broncos really need to shop for the services of Kirk Cousins or for a discount option, Colin Kaepernick, if they don't fear the media backlash. But whatever.
That's never going to happen. What probably was more likely to happen is that they'll go out and trade for Eli. And then it'll be Eli the Bronco. Sure, you'd love to see that.
Man. Yeah, if you're a Manning, you're just going to by default just play for the Broncos.
Or you know what? Since they seem dedicated to only going for budget options, Jacoby Brissett. Honestly, I mean, couldn't be any worse than what they've got.
He already has the defense. He has the defense. So
they've got an offensive line, sort of. They've got skill. They've got skill guys at the skill positions. That could be interesting. I'm not ready to say that would be a good team, but you never know.
I mean, I mean, all you need is like a quarterback that can kind of move the ball at least like to midfield, and if they have to punt, their defense can do the rest. But anyway, we'll probably discuss that like in a later episode, about like Broncos quarterback options. Next,
but we both have the Jets, right?
Jets, easy.
All right.
Next one, Redskins, Chargers.
Hey,
I gotta go with Chargers there.
It's the Washington Professional Football Team.
Or the Washington Dan Snyders.
I think I've got the Chargers because I
got the Chargers. They're a hot streak.
Kirk Cousins is,
he's streaky.
He's good.
I don't trust him sometimes.
He's good. He's not great, but he's good. But I just don't. I don't think that's enough. And
so he's the NFC version of Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco's horrible. He's so bad. No, for real. If you look over that team,
is he elite?
Well, I just said last time that our audience doesn't really need us to tell them whether Joe Flacco is elite or not. So, but
man,
no, seriously, Joe Flacco's horrible. We'll get to that because we still haven't picked that game yet.
Yeah,
but no,
Chargers.
I've got to pick the Chargers. I just don't. Washington's just been decimated by injuries, and I don't really see anything that tells me.
Yeah, they have no running game anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see. Also, I'm picking the Chargers because of like Joey Bosa, like in that defense, man. They gave the Patriots fits. Huh?
What a great name, Joey Bosa. Like
Bosa.
Doesn't that sound like he would be like the front man of like a 90s metal band? Like, now introducing Joey Bosa.
Joey Bosa.
I guess they don't really individually introduce members of a metal band, but that name makes me think of like just a, dude with a shaved head and tattoos and muscles just like cupping a mic, which you're not supposed to do because that makes it sound like shit. But cupping the mic and just unleashing a primal howl from beyond.
Man. Oh, and also Chargers because like the Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen connection is just wow.
Yeah, no, for real. If you were if you're a fantasy guy who was patient enough to stick with Keenan Allen through all the injuries, my God.
Dang, I blew it.
It's sort of funny. Anyway, brief side note, it's amazing all the horrible games this week. It's like I know absolutely which games I'm watching tomorrow, and I guess it's the side effect of when you have all the good teams playing each other this week, you then have all the bad teams playing each other, and you're just like, no.
How convenient.
Nope, I'm not watching that.
How convenient, unless it's a close game.
But all right, next.
Yeah. Seahawks and Jaguars. So Seahawks with less Legion of Boom versus the self-proclaimed Saxonville.
And Bortles. Don't forget about Blake Bortles, the guy who looks like he's 35.
Okay, I'm going Seahawks because whenever people decide to doubt the Seahawks, Russell Wilson just pulls magic out of his pants. And I really feel like he should win MVP this year. I mean, if he's playing behind that atrocity of an offensive line and still making plays and still lead them to the playoffs, even without like their one of their best secondaries in football, like he deserves like all the credit in the world. So I'm going Seahawks, and plus that front seven on defense is scary, and they're gonna have a field day on Blake Bortles. So I'm going with Seahawks.
At the beginning of this season, I was watching a lot of Seahawks because I had on my fantasy team I had a Wilson Baldwin stack, but at a certain point I stopped paying attention because of that, and I started paying attention because Wilson is a goddamn magician, and I do not understand how he is able to do that with kind of all the holes in that roster. And I mean, honestly, their skill position players are, acceptable. I wouldn't consider, like, they really don't have an all-world talent at receiver. Jimmy Graham is kind of slowly getting back to what he was, but he's still much more of just like a red zone target at this point. And their defense hasn't been as good this year, but they plug guys in, they plug and play, and he makes plays happen. I don't know how he does it, but it's really fun to watch.
Bro. Yeah. So Seahawks.
And yeah, I've got the Seahawks too. I do think this is kind of a trap game. Like, this is going to be one of those games that's decided by like one play. You know, I have this one pretty even because I feel like I keep mentioning fantasy, but I have that Wilson Baldwin stack going this week, and that makes me really, really nervous.
Keep in mind though, the Jaguars right now, like if the playoffs start today, they're in the playoffs.
That would be fun. I'd love to see the Jaguars in the playoffs again. It's been a long time. David Garrard.
Oh no, David Garrard. I was thinking further back. Mark
that 1 year with David Garrard, and
Byron Leftwich,
and Maurice Jones-Drew. They played the Patriots in 2007. Remember the buzzsaw. Anyway, next.
Game of the week: Eagles, Rams. I'm going Rams.
This one's kind of interesting.
I'm going Gurley. I'm going Gurley, and I'm going Goff, man.
This whole year, we've all been kind of going like, are the Rams really this good? Like,
the Rams are good.
They
just did not have a good coach. They didn't have. They have Jeff Fisher for crying out loud as their coach, man.
Because, like, I guess in football, maybe the coach has more of an impact than in a lot of other sports. Because, like, remember, like, the Warriors? The Warriors had Mark Jackson as the coach. And then it was kind of weird when they fired him and they hired Steve Kerr. And then suddenly they went from, like, a playoff team to, like, the greatest team ever. But even that wasn't going from a bad team to a really good team. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. And you sort of wonder with the Eagles, too. Maybe they're not as good as their record. But I think I've got the Eagles in this one by like a hair.
I'm going Rams, but it's going to be like probably a final drive.
Like, I've got some kind of weird late game meltdown or a fumble by somebody or something kind of doing the Rams in.
I'm feeling like Goff is going to like find like Cooper Kupp or like Sammy Watkins in the corner of the end zone, like type of vibe here.
Talk about another great game, so, Cooper Kupp.
Either way, Cooper Kupp, man. Coop. All right. Here's the evening game, 8:31. Ravens and Steelers.
Joe Flacco is freaking terrible. Terrible. He's bad at football. And the Ravens basically do a Giants where they just never make changes, even if it's mediocre.
But the Ravens have a great defense, though. But Ben Roethlisberger is a terrible person. So...
yeah. I've got the Steelers.
Steelers because your waifu Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. There's just too much offensive talent for the defense to stop.
Joe Flacco throws 4 interceptions. That's my prediction.
He did that against Jacksonville. So
Joe Flacco throws 4 interceptions, but the Ravens still only lose by like 4 points.
Yeah, I'll go with that because Steelers normally play down to their competition.
Yeah, it'll be one of those kind of games where you'll just be like,
gonna
why
be some
the
hitting.
Hell did I watch that?
There's going to be some Ravens and Steelers, just do some hitting. But Steelers. And the last one, the Monday Night Football game. New England Patriots versus the Miami Dolphins. Who you got?
I've got the Patriots. ESPN makes you pick as a tiebreaker, makes you pick the score. So I have the Patriots 45-3.
Dang. I feel like the Patriots might end up playing down to the Dolphins, so I'm giving them like 24-16 because like the Dolphins just like for some reason just get like their front four always gives like our offensive line and Tom Brady fits. So I think it's going to be closer, but I just think the deciding factor is like the running game with Deion Lewis and James White and also Rex Burkhead. So all three of them doing their thing. And the Brady to Cooks connection because Gronk is out because of the suspension. So yeah, Patriots.
I have literally no idea who's starting at quarterback for the Dolphins in this game, and my quick Google search couldn't even tell me. So,
I think it might be Cutler, but I don't know if he's injured or not. But it'd be either Cutler or Matt Moore.
Jay Cutler, they said Matt Moore didn't practice, so I think it's probably not Cutler, Moore. Man. So Jay Cutler, 45-3. I probably didn't pick a large enough spread.
Word. Okay.
So
let's see. Can you refresh your video, by the way? Because I want to see your reaction. Like, I want to end the show like with this thing, like this video here.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I teased this earlier. I need to see your reaction on this.
And we may or may not. Really quickly, by the way, I'm going to make my eliminator pick too.
What you got?
And I've got the Packers over the Browns. So that's fun. Anyway, that's the thing. Looks like it's saved. Okay. It. Cool. I had 1 week where I put my picks in and then it deleted my picks for some reason, and so I just had a 0 for the week.
Okay. Don't look at it until I tell you to. All right. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and like send this out to you right now.
All right. I'm going to minimize the chat window so I don't even see the preview. I'm a little scared, to be honest.
All right. So this is called every 90s commercial ever. And it's basically like a teaser on like, like cheesy like 90s commercials like Capri Sun.
Oh God. This does actually sound up my alley. Can I click on it now?
Yeah.
All right.
And now okay, go for it.
All right. I'm loading it up. Here we go. It's taking YouTube a second.
Oh, okay.
Man, this play button is a great video. It's literally still loading. Okay, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God, that music. Liquid Slam, what? Oh no, oh yeah, they did the turn into liquid thing. Oh no. Wait, are they ghosts? Are they Ghostbusters? Oh, I love the bad CGI. They have a full team. They reconstituted and became some sort of monster thing and are, I guess, amalgamating all of the other children. Yeah. Oh, man, those are like football pizzas instead of football cookies. It's the hunger that you tackle. Game, respect, game. I can't even. Okay, I'm going to attempt to describe what just happened. Because I think I was just laughing and not really reacting a whole lot. So there is some silly music, and these kids are bored, and their friend runs in and is like, "Hey, I heard this football player's playing ball in the park with our friends." And they run out.
Down, Darius Jackson.
Yeah, the fake football player stand-in guy. And Mom is like, "Well, you can't go without your what was that product called?
Big Game Liquid Slam, I think it was.
Your Big Game Liquid Slam, which is obviously like Capri Sun. And they drink it and they turn into
the title
strange
of our podcast.
Huh?
Can that be like our Big Liquid Slam? Can that be like our the title for this one?
Not sure I have anything to add to that. But they become silver surfers and fly to the park, and they're playing football, and then but they try to re-amalgamate into people out of liquid, and they become this sort of strange 3-person combined bloody monster thing, and they start murdering the other children. And football player just happens to have a flamethrower on him, so I guess we're getting into like the 90s action kid genre. And they escape, and they're back at the house. They're back at the house feeling down, and Mom is like, "Had a rough day, kids. You might enjoy these football-shaped pizza pockets." Or I guess open-faced pizzas.
Big Game Pizza Pigskins.
They're having all kinds of fun eating the pizza, and then the mom gets eviscerated by the monster, who isn't dead. And
yeah, the monster was actually because there was one of those little pizza bites left, and you just see a hand just brush right through her stomach to get the little pizza thing.
Maybe it wasn't even trying to hurt anyone. Maybe it just wanted pizza.
It just wanted those pizza pigskins, man.
I now almost want to make my own pizza pigskins. Just because they did look kind of good.
Whatever you do, make sure you look north, south, east, and west, before you set them on a plate, because I don't want a monster to eviscerate you.
Maybe up and down too.
Word.
But yeah, there you go. That is I would say a pretty good summary of what those 90s commercials on Cartoon Network and stuff.
Big Game Liquid Slam. That's what it was called.
Yeah. Big Game Liquid Slam.
I was worried about the gory parts was was gonna make you just throw up or something like that. I was uncertain about it, but I didn't want to give up the spoilers either. So it was just something you had to see for yourself. But the making of it is even more fascinating. It's an 8-minute video on their channel of how they made it, and it was amazing how they made that. Yeah.
I'll definitely watch that.
I recommend you checking that out. Yeah, I checked it out. It was good. What they did, they actually shot it in 4K, and then they ran it through a VCR to dirty it up to give it that 90s feel.
That's fantastic. Dude, it's kind of cool. I got the demo for this plugin that's a reel-to-reel tape simulator, and it essentially does the same thing for music, where you put that on the master plugin feed for your track, and it makes the track sound like it's being played back on a reel-to-reel tape machine. It's a really, really subtle effect, but that same sort of thing where it's meant to kind of retroify a piece.
Cool.
I used that on like a synth thing I was working on. But anyway, yeah, really
That's
cool.
Well, on that note, man, we've been talking for a while. Like, if the quality sounds a little bit different, it's because like we're not in the same vicinity as we normally are.
Yeah, we didn't really mention that off the top.
He's at his apartment. I'm at mine, and well, actually my girlfriend's, but we're practically like living together now. So, but yeah, we decided to give this a trial and see how it goes. And
it's a telecommunications Saturday. Yeah.
And if it works, then hey, we'll be able to drop some more episodes like on a more consistent basis. So I really feel like this was really good.
Yeah,
like we actually had like a little outline that we went through. So it was like less digressions, and we actually just kept it going, and we actually gave you actually more like organized content. So
yeah.
I felt like this was like a good step in the right direction for our podcast and for like our 5 viewers. So yeah, it was excellent. And plus I got a chance to try out the microphone and audio interface that subsequently Dan here gave me for my birthday, like last July. So I finally had a reason and a way to use this equipment. So yeah, thanks.
To be honest, man, like to my ears through the headphones, it sounds pretty good actually.
Man, this sounds good.
So we should be.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see how this like is like synced together.
Yeah, hopefully we can do this more often, and as topic ideas come to us, we can just kind of keep track of them and all that good stuff.
All right, so just like the wrap up here, great show today. Tomorrow we're gonna be like watching our picks play out, and then like we'll give like the the updates, like in the next episode we'll like maybe do like a little analysis on that, and then we'll make more picks and all that, and then talk about the world of sports on the only ways we know how. So until then, this has been D with 2 E's and
Dan with an AN.
Exactly. And just we thank you so much for like tuning in for another episode, another installment of the Dan versus D Sports and Stuff podcast. And just ask that you just follow us on Twitter, just continue to follow us on iTunes, and just you don't have to listen to it like the whole thing at once. You can listen to 5-10 minute increments and stuff. Just if you're bored and stuff, just like just listen to us and everything, because we'll keep you company and we'll keep you entertained. But we just throw that little plug in there, like, hey, listen to us and follow us. But other than that, enjoy your lives, and yeah.
Quick note about that. We still, as of right now, as far as I know, do not have any ratings or reviews on iTunes. So if you're out there and you got nothing to do, you got nothing else to do on a Sunday afternoon, give us a rating. 5-star, 1-star.
5 stars would be nice.
Stars.
Give us -5 stars.
Yeah, right. That would be more commensurate with the quality of our show. But yeah, we would really appreciate. Honestly, we would appreciate constructive criticism too. I mean, really, honestly, like what we could do better, what you'd like to hear more of, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Twitter handle, by the way, is @DVD Sports Show with 2 S's. Because of my other use of this account, we're now being followed by Acid Fury, a technical thrash metal band from Athens.
How about that?
I assume that means Athens, Georgia, and from Athens, Greece. Wow. Who would have thought?
Do you think they know the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo?
You never know, man. Anyway, fun times. Reach out to us. Let us know. We still send us some listener email if you feel like it. Ask us questions. We will literally do anything on the air. This was a great episode. I think it was a good episode here.
this is like I'm D, this Dan, and we hope to see you again, and especially like definitely in the near future. Like if as long as this experiment here, this 2 different location experiment goes well. So with that said, this has been the Dan versus D Sports and Stuff podcast. We wish you peace, love, and happiness, and may you all have a great day and lives, and love one another.
Stay safe, stay sane. I wish I could just hug you all, but I'm not going to this time. Maybe someday.
Someday, indeed. Anyway, guys, peace out, guys.
Take it easy. Yeah. So we both reveal that we're Patriots fans, and the analytics say that all of our fans stopped listening 5 minutes into this episode. What do you think happened? We sync it up, and it just goes directly to the point where we said we were Patriots fans.